I have spoken very well, and I want to make a sort of suggestion. We have several local government areas in this country, Nigeria. And for the people really to have a sense of belonging, to have the feeling, the impact of the federal government in the various local government areas, I want to suggest to the honorable minister that let them start a program where we will have federal local houses in the several local government areas in the country, so that each local government will have at least the housing message by the federal government. And it may not be for the workers. Even farmers and others who will need housing can we apply. That's the suggestion I want to make for the federal government. Having said that one, I want to draw the attention of the honorable minister to one road in Owa West here. We call it Sabo Survey Road. The federal government, long time ago, awarded that contract to two contractors. One was on the Sabo Survey Axis. That is the front Odo State. From Survey down to a particular village. The other one was on the Sabo Axis. Sabo is Owa West, with the headquarters of Owa West. From there to meet up with the one from the Survey. But you know that the construction of Survey Axis did their own. The that of the Survey is about Axis. They abandoned the west and are stopping now. The road is still there. But although there's a sort of still to that now that the Survey is now under a good
All right.
not again.
Okay.
So I want to ask the minister if they can still come around to do the work for us.
All right.
Thank you. God bless all of you.
All right. Thank you, Bishop Isong. Thank you so much. I believe the minister is taking note of these questions and comments so that he can react later. We'll take more calls now. Hello. Okay, Honorable Minister, you can go ahead. Well, hello, we have a caller.
Well,
I apologize, I beg your pardon, Honorable Minister. Let's take this caller, then we'll get back to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Minister. Compliment Patrick Okoro Crawford. I'm calling from Blue Village in Atani Arutuku in Adia. Honorable Minister, there is need for the government to look at like this situation of this housing issue. Let the local government authority that can acquire the land, go of O, and settlement of the owners of the land. The federal government can come in there and do what? Let the structures work. Well, it's a situation whereby everything has been signed in Abuja and say go to local. At the end of the day, we'll be hearing stories upon stories, job not done, no monitoring, no implementation. Because the housing service is even, there are three major things we need: food, shelter, and the and the situation whereby all these things are taken. Now, you say a civil servant will go on retirement. Before he leaves the office, he has no single house. At the end of the day, he will now use his retirement to do what? To start building a house. Before he talks to Robinson, he will tell that guys, one reason or another, is not feeling fine because he was not prepared. There is need for government to help the workers while they are in the office. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Abuja. Come for participate from Atani Village, Arutuku. And this means I remember the Arutuku or Hopia Road is still like that. Nothing has been done up to today.
Is it a federal road? Okay, all right. Thank you, Patrick, all the same. Yes, let's take more calls now. Hello, tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Chijodu Ubaja. Good morning, Honorable Minister. I'm calling from Owole, the capital of Imo State. Good morning and welcome to Radio Nigeria program. Yes, Honorable Minister, I want to tell you that some of the federal roads in the southeastern region are in a state of bad disrepair. Even the construction of the second Niger bridge that is ongoing is going at a very snail speed that it may not even be completed within the lifespan of this administration. You are therefore expected to use your good offices, sir, to actually fast-track the reconstruction and the renovation of some of the federal roads and fast-track the construction of the second Niger bridge to give the people in this region a sense of belonging, since they are almost having a sense of marginalization. There is also no more construction of federal housing scheme by the Federal Housing Authority in Owerri, the capital of Imo State. It's also been alleged that government officials at Abuja are in charge of some of them that are ongoing. And I ask, what can I and ordinary citizens of Imo State like me do to get a house from this area under this situation? Let me just ask one question before I round up. Yeah.
Yes, quickly.
Some of the greater portion of the Federal Housing Authority land in Owerri has been a subject of court litigation between the authority and the initial landowners of Amako here in Owerri non-local government, to the extent that allottees could not take possession of their land for development. What is your ministry, as the supervising ministry, doing to resolve the lingering problem once and for all, since the allottees have obtained the judgment but could not take possession because of fear of the original landowners? Thank you very much and God bless you.
Well, thank you, Chief Judu Buaja. Hello, let's take more calls. Hello. Hello, tell us who you are and where you're calling from. Hello, your name and location. You can go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Your name and
good
location.
morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is the radio senator, Mr. Andrew Ajayi.
Good morning, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah, good morning, my brother Daniel. Mr. Minister, I greet you with all my heart, especially when you are an alma mater of University of Benin, where I also graduated from. Are you with me?
Yes, the minister can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. As I have listened with rapt attention, and I want to please appeal to Mr. Minister to say that I know you are doing your best, and I also hope that your best will be good enough, so that when you are no longer minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, when we are counting the tenureship of ministers of works, maybe your own can come out as one of the best. I hope so. But one thing I want to appeal to you to do is very simple. I am from Akoko Edo local government of Edo State, and we suffer so much lack of good roads in that area, even from the road that leads to from Ibilu through Ofi-Ayegule, my village that goes to Igara, that also can pass through inside Ayegule going to Imeri Road. I learned that road is a federal government road, but that road is in so much disrepair, and I don't know whether you have been able to pin your satellite in this area from Ibilo that comes to, Igara, which is the council headquarters, but the road diverts into Ayegule and passes and goes to Imeri. It is a federal government road. I don't know whether FEMA knows that place at all. If that is not the case, I'm appealing to you, please, to take your biro, pencil down that place, and see what can be done in that area, so that we, the people of Akoko Edo, can count this federal government of Buhari, where you are Minister of Works, as worthy. If not, we will not sing your praise when the time comes. And I also want to conclude by saying, Mr. Minister, sir, of a truth, housing is a problem to civil servants. Civil servants all over the Federation, you tell them not to steal, get committed, be patriotic, be loyal to Nigeria. They are not stealing. They are not getting extra money other than their 100,000, 120 that they get as salaries at various grade level. Yes, where they rent houses to live in, they pay 400,000, 500,000 for 2-bedroom flats. What have you? And yet they don't have houses. Like what my friend Okorafor said. When people grow old, that is when they now start using their money to build houses, because the money they receive as salaries was not even enough for them to feed their families. What are you people doing concerning housing for civil servants?
Thank you very much. You've made your point. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Honorable Minister, over to you now. We'll take quite an array of questions and contributions.
I have listened to all the commentaries. I think one thing that runs through all three of them was the need for housing at local level. And if they were listening at the beginning of the program, I made it very clear that the housing picture of Nigeria cannot be totally got by focusing only on what the federal government is doing. Under the Constitution, housing is a matter where the states local government and the federal government all have participatory authority and responsibility. So housing is not an exclusive matter. More importantly, the land on which the houses are built is absolutely under the management of the state government. So,
Sorry,
the scholars who want local houses should liaise with their state governments. As I said before, as governor in Lagos, we started a massive housing program and policy called the Lagos Homes, and it is now being continued by the current government. Raji rose to national prominence also on the back of his local housing policy in Lagos State. So let the local government and the state governments who control the land invest more in housing. What the federal government will continue to do really to support those kind of investments is to create the enabling environment, ease of doing business, provide through fiscal and monetary policy access to funding to build the houses. But the federal government simply cannot, even if it wants to build all the houses that Nigerians need. And I'm always happy to acknowledge the role that is now being played by the private sector in building houses. Almost on a daily basis now, if you tune on to any media platform, you will see private investors advertising the construction of one house or the other. In terms of housing for civil servants, I am aware that there is a program called FISH. I don't quite remember the acronym, but it is an initiative of the head of the civil service of the federal government where houses are being provided for civil servants. We receive enormous support from my ministry, especially since I took office in 2015. We have supported them. We are still supporting them. Just about 2 weeks ago, I met with the head of service and her team, and they were asking us if we could allow them participate in one of our schemes by taking some of the land up, and I told them that we will. In terms of some of the roads that have been mentioned, let me say that I don't know when last the caller who mentioned the second Niger Bridge visited the second Niger Bridge. The bridge is planned to be completed and handed over in 2022. And subject to the few weeks that we have lost between March and June during the COVID lockdown, we intend to keep that schedule. We have awarded the Arochukwu or Hafia Road, I believe. The Ohafia to Bende also we have awarded. I think the major constraint is funding. And as I said at the beginning of the program, we are having to do a lot more with fewer resources than what was hitherto available to Nigeria to have spent on roads. It is this administration that is also now refunding payments back to governors for roads of the federal government that they did at state level at a time when the federal government was earning a lot of petrodollars and did not commit to infrastructure. So people have to bear with us. I note the complaint about the road to Ibilu, but our immediate priority first is that people must also understand the federal government does not own all the roads. The country has a network of about 200,000 kilometers. The federal government owns 35,000 kilometers. The remaining 165,000 kilometers belongs to the states and the local government. But our roads are the longest and they carry the heaviest traffic because they are roads that connect states to states. So those are the roads we are focusing on. That's why you will see us focusing on Enugu to Port Harcourt because it connects all the 5 states to the south. Yeah. You will see us focusing on Sokoto, Tambuwa to Jega because it connects all those states of the northwest to the north central and to the southwest. You will see us on Benin, Shagamu or Eru because it connects Edo to Ondo and to Ogun. And you will see us on the Lagos-Ibadan. It is when we have done those key roads that we can then begin to go into those Ibilo and all of those types of roads. And I will bring them to the attention of FEMA in the hope that they can provide some remediation in the interim.
All right. Honorable Minister, let's take a few messages from our social media platforms. We have many of them, but we'll take as much as we can. First message from Reverend Paul Silas from Lagos State. It says, good morning. Please, Honorable Minister, when did you travel along Mile 2 Badagry Road in Lagos last? Please, what are you doing to finish that road during your tenure? The road is supposed to be an international road that links Nigeria to most African countries. Please, sir, this is causing too much hardship to Nigerians. We have Abudu Sunday from Sunday Muyiwa from Abuja. He says he wants to know why our road don't last long despite spending a lot of money to construct them. Every year we'll spend money on road, but citizens cannot feel the impact enough. Mr. Lajidi from Lagos says infrastructural development is one of the driving forces to improve the living standard of the citizenry. Also, Francis Namani from Amagunze in Enugu State says most of the federal roads, especially in the southeastern part of the country, are in shambles, and such roads as Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway, Enugu Onisha Expressway, Amagunze, Ihuakbara, Asia Road, and the likes. Please, what is the plan of your ministry to get these roads properly and timely done to ameliorate the sufferings of users and citizenry as well? We also have another one from Yahaya Wada. It says the rate at which infrastructures are being erected across the country now is very well commendable. The present administration or leadership under the watchful eyes of the Buhari or Shibajo have really proven that things can work and that we have the right people in power. And many thanks to you, Honorable Minister. We have Nicholas Adishina from Apo Abuja says the recently approved economic sustainability plan earmarks the construction of 10,000 new houses in each state. How soon can Nigerians expect these construction to commence? I think the Honorable Minister has mentioned something about that already. Probably he'll react as well. Celestine Uwadia, National President, Delta North Patriotic Youth Forum Worldwide. He says location, Katsina State, Nigeria urged, I think he says there is the need to intensify efforts in the housing sector. Planks Plankat says people are really suffering. The ministry needs to synergize with Nigeria's Society of Engineers to deal with all quacks amongst them in order to check the menace of building collapse in the country. Government will wake up and embark on serious maintenance culture to safeguard the nation's infrastructure. Yes, let's take just one or two more calls, then we'll come back to you, Honorable Minister. Please, if you don't mind, our time is fast running. Yes.
Hello, good morning. It's Adawana calling from Jos.
Yes,
good morning, Honorable Minister. I say amen to what he said. I don't know whether I heard well. He said there is a second Niger bridge that is ready by 2022. I just hope that will happen. If that happens, you would have written your name in the Times of Times, honestly speaking, because that particular project has been politicized. The issue the government will come and say they will do that. They never did it, except this Buhari-led administration. I say kudos to you. Then again, the housing thing, I'm so worried. I don't know, when I heard you talking about online, that's how it's going to be, and you don't have to know anybody. But what are you putting in place to make sure that one person doesn't buy too many of it because he's well-to-do? You know, using different names and all that. I don't know what mechanism you are putting in place. And then the civil servants, as some of the callers have said earlier, I don't know how they are protected too, because some of them might not even have this money to pay at once. If there's a mechanism put in place for them to get a loan or mortgage or whatever. So at the end of the day, they can have their house over their roof. That's why most of them change the goalpost when it comes to their ages and going to malpractice, and that is fraud while in office, because they don't have anything to show for it. So I don't know how we should try to factor them in. That's civil servants. God bless Nigeria. Let's not give up on this country. It's going to be well with us.
All right. Thank you, Adaodogo. Yes, maybe two more calls, then we'll come back to the Honorable Minister. Yes, hello. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Hello. Good morning, presenter.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, sir? Mr. Daniel.
Yes, we're doing great.
My name is Nasiru Hussein Kurugini. I'm reaching you from the state capital of Zamfara.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I want to salute the Honorable Minister in this program, Heart USA. Please, Mr. Daniel, am I communicated?
Yes, please. We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
The Honorable Minister, I want to ask a question about you because last week, I will not forget, you come this program, how to say, when we tell you about the northern Nigeria, here, if you want to go road from Unsua to Kono, from Zaria to Jos, that road, the Mr. President visited the Zaria last time, and then the Emir of Zaria reporting for the President, that road from Zaria to Jos, and then from Shandam to Nasarawa State, up to now that road is damaged, and then Hulu are attacking people and collected their bags and money because of that road. Please, what can you do for us in this northern Nigeria? Every time you want to come this program, I'm telling you about northern Nigeria, you cannot even consider us. Please, the Honorable Minister, what can you do for us to consider us? That's what we're saying from God bless the people of Nigeria. Bye for now.
Yes, thank you very much, Nasir Hosseini. Just one last call, then we'll hear from the Minister. Hello? Hello? Your name and location, and please go ahead. Make it short.
Hello, good morning. My name is Emmanuel, calling from Maitama.
Emmanuel from Maitama. Your line seems to be breaking. We can't hear you at all. We can barely hear you. Hello? Hello? Okay. All right. Honourable Minister, over to you now. With the combination of the messages we received on our social media and the calls, I just hope you're able to tackle them in as quick as you can.
Okay, very quickly, the Mile-2 Badagry road is being undertaken by the Lagos State government and the federal government simultaneously. The path from Erikmo to Okukumaiko is being executed by the Lagos State government, and I am aware that some work is going on there. The federal government is undertaking the path from the Seme border down to Okukumaiko. I am also aware that some work is going on there. I get weekly reports of those projects. The major work being done now is the drainage. So for those who use that route, please bear with us. We are also owing the contractor. So as I said earlier, we just got approval for the Sukuk funds on Monday. We will begin to disburse monies. And as we go into the end of the rainy season, into the dry weather, you will see progress again. Clearly, for anybody who has used that route, compared to 2 years ago when there was no response, we are now responding. But it just takes time to build a road. And the resources are not as available as we sometimes wish. And that is why the government also continues to borrow. But even the announcement that government is going to borrow doesn't mean that it has raised the money that day. So we just got the Sukuk symbolic presentation on Monday. The cash will begin to hit maybe in a few days' time. But the Sukuk process started, I think, in January when the budget was passed. So it even took about 6 months to raise the money. So when government says going to borrow, it doesn't get the money immediately. Why are roads not lasting long? Well, I don't think that we should generalize about roads not lasting long, but I acknowledge the point that you are making. Some roads last longer than others. Roads are difficult to build in some terrain than in others. Most of the southern part of Nigeria, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Lagos, rivers, are in the swamps and rainforest areas. So essentially you are building in water, and therefore water and the asphalt and bitumen and concrete don't really get along well together. But apart from that, there's a lot of abuse on our roads. People changing oil on the road also damages the road. The oil begins to break up the binding particulars of the road. People washing cars on the roadside also does not help our road. People overloading trucks means that you are abusing the road, not using it. And the reason is that the roads are designed to a specific weight and tonnage. And once you overload it, you are actually the one damaging the road. And it's not that the road is not lasting. You are abusing the road. And if you abuse anything, it won't work. So I think it's important to make that. Enugu-Onitsha road, I drove through that road earlier this year. And the major part that remains to be completed is between Amanse and Umuya. I drove from Enugu to Onitsha. In fact, I drove from Asaba to Enugu through Onitsha. So I hope that some of the people who make general statements about the roads have actually driven on the road.
Badagry.
Rather than believing some of the generalizations that are reported by people who haven't been to the road. Just like the second Niger bridge, I was on that bridge in March, and I see that all the pileworks have been done. The deck is now being launched, and the plan was that by the end of September, one lane of one side of 2 lanes should have been completed. We lost 3 months, we will gain it back. So people should also be very careful where they're taking their information from. There are a lot of people who say things without actually being able to verify them. Just last week Friday, somebody said, one actor, I think he was, Dochi or whatever his name, he said that the Niger bridge was shaking, the old bridge, and it was going to collapse. And I thought that was strange because we were maintaining that bridge. Our engineers went to check and said there was no such thing. So people should be careful what information they get and verify the information before they rely on them.
Okay.
When the economic sustainability plan starts, we are implementing now, we are developing now the final bolts and nuts of the implementation plan. The housing part of it depends on when we get housing for land from the state government. Because the federal government doesn't have the land, we have to get the land from the state governors, all of whom have been briefed about this program. How do we ensure 1 or 2 people don't get the houses when we are allocating national housing? That's why we are going through a digital process so that we can authenticate. We want to use either the national ID or we want to use the passport or some other verifiable identification by which we can identify people, or even your passport or something, so that we ensure that only first-time homeowners actually benefit from the scheme. The road to Zaria, I think the major limiting fund, the problem there is the funding. The Funtua to Zaria road, I remember I met with the contractor last week, and his problem was that we were owing him. So again, we don't have all of the resources to deal with all of the problems that the Buhari administration has met. But in spite of the limited resources that we have, I still think that the commitment of the Buhari administration to infrastructure is most phenomenal. It is unprecedented in recent times, and I think we should just get behind this government so that it can deliver on our aspiration for infrastructure. Let me close past by saying that I am not the only one responsible for Nigeria's infrastructure. I'm responsible for the road and housing part. My colleagues in communication are rolling out broadband connectivity, which is necessary for health, education, and business and our daily lives. We need that broadband to continue to have this kind of virtual conversations. My colleague in transportation is rolling out the rail. My colleague in aviation is delivering and completing the airports. So all of these things are beginning to take shape. Something is being done about them. That is what is different now. We are not talking about them. We are doing something about them. And I wish that a lot more had been done like this in the past, and perhaps the burden would have been lighter.
All right. Honorable Minister, let's take these few messages. Okay, we have a call that just came in. Let's take it very quickly, and then you give us your final thought. Hello?
Hello.
Yes,
good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. You have 30 seconds. Please go straight to the point. Hello.
Is that Radio Nigeria?
Yes, please. Your name and location, and then go ahead, please. We can hear you.
This is Nobu Nnamdi Akujo. Nobu Nnamdi Akujo is calling from Animo in Owerri, Imo State.
Okay. Go ahead, please. Very
that is the Honorable Commissioner, Minister.
Yes, the minister can hear you. Just go ahead. Make it short, please. You have 20 seconds. Okay, we lost the call, unfortunately. He's been trying to get through to us. Let's take these few messages, then we close with the Honorable Minister. Mustafa from Abuja says the people living near rivers are displaced, especially in Kogi State. Can you help us, Minister? Dahiru Haman Njidda from Mayo Belwa, Adamawa State says, my question is about the Federal Mortgage National Housing Fund to serve civil servants. I believe the minister talked about that. Tajuddin Hussaini from Abuja says, good morning. Please kindly haste the works from Lokoja to Benin We beg you, Honorable Minister. Tumishi from Abuja says, we appreciate the work you have been doing as Minister of Works and Housing, but please, can the Lagos Ibadan and Badagry Way work be fast tracked? Yes, let's quickly take this call. This caller needs to say something before we go. Hello.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Chief Fidel Onyeneke. Chief Fidel Onyeneke is calling from Owerri in Imo State.
Yes, you have 10 seconds. Please go ahead. Make it quick.
Honorable Minister, most Nigerians are suffering in terms of payment of rent. Is there no way government can intervene and make landlords to be more positive in assisting
thank you.
Tenants?
All right, thank you. You've made your point. Minister, you have a minute, and then we close.
Well, I wish one of the things government is doing is rent-to-own schemes as well. But most of the properties, and it's an important point you make, housing cannot be discussed only from ownership. It must be discussed from ownership and rental. And I continue to appeal to landlords, to property owners, to...
Hello? Hello, Honorable Minister? Hello? Hello? Honorable Minister. We seem to have lost our contact there. Okay, we apologize. We've lost contact with Honorable Minister, but I believe indeed the entire conversation has been smooth with contributions. We wish to thank the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, for speaking to us on the program. We hope that the next time he will be here live so that we can see him live. We wish to thank the production crew at this time in person of the news producers Conrad Labe and Hassan Hussein, online editors Adeni Bakare, ICT Israel Tiokaha, studio manager was Prince Afonia Ugweze, engineer was Hassan Usman, photographers Satik Sarome, cameras were handled by Fulua Oluide and Chinedu Mmegwa, our facilitator was Oluwa Damilolaoni, our producer Oledo Mbiwe, and executive producer Sani Suleiman. Special thanks to the Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, Dr. Manusil Liman, for giving us this platform. Join us next week for another edition of the program. Have your say. I am Olayemi Daniel asking you to stay safe. COVID-19 is real. Goodbye.